Thank you for joining today's webinar, Streamlining Project Management with Safran Project 7. We appreciate you taking the time to learn a little bit more about Safran and our solutions for project management. Today's presenters are myself, Jeff Russell, and Wes Gillette. I'm the VP of Sales for America, and Wes is the Director of Client Services. For an agenda today, I'm going to give you a quick background on Safran, the company, and a real high-level overview of Safran Project, the product. So that'll be about 5-7 minutes. And then I'll hand it off to Wes, who will do a product demo in the live product. So a little bit about Safran. We're a project management company. We've provided enterprise project and risk management software to the industry for over 20 plus years. We have offices in Oslo, Norway, Stavanger, Norway, London, UK, and Houston, Texas. Our solutions are proven and trusted. They're used by thousands of project management professionals around the world. And one of the differentiators for Safran, and one of the things I think is really a key differentiator for Safran, is we're exclusively focused on the asset-intensive space. So we spend 100% of our time, money, and dollars developing solutions for the oil, gas, and chemical market, infrastructure, aerospace and defense, utilities, and engineering and construction. And these companies use our tools for the largest projects all the way down to the smallest projects that they run every day. Here's a sample customer list, and like I just said, our customers use this for a variety of project types. So for example here, ConocoPhillips recently completed the largest turnaround in the history of the North Sea using Safran Project, and Statoil uses our tool across the board. It's an enterprise standard in their organization, so they use this for small, medium, and large size projects. So Accenture recently did a study around project management and the challenges in project management, and they found a couple of interesting things. First of all, only 15% of projects are being completed on time, and only 30% of projects are being delivered on budget. And when they did some root cause analysis on what's driving this, they found that the project and portfolio management systems have become too costly and complicated to deploy, and many disparate solutions are delivering limited value to the market. So what that looks like, and I'm sure on the left looks like most of your environments, it certainly looks like most of the environments I've encountered in my 10 plus years selling project management tools, is you have a variety of solutions. So for project management, you might have Microsoft Project, Primavera, Safran, a variety of project control tools. In addition, you have a reporting layer layered on top of this, maybe a project risk tool, and maybe even a project costing tool. And the result is you have a bunch of disparate applications. You're doing redundant data collection and having delayed and inaccurate reporting. And ultimately, it's frustrating for everyone in the organization. It's frustrating for the back-end IT folks that are having to maintain and integrate these tools. And it's certainly frustrating for the users that are having to learn a variety of tools and learn the way to navigate and move these projects around these tools so they can get the proper information out. And Safran really thinks you should rethink this and do that from a unified project management solution. So I mentioned our market focus as being a big differentiator. I think a second major differentiator of Safran is a unified project management solution we bring to market. So unlike a lot of the folks out there that have bought a variety of solutions and tied them together to provide a holistic solution, Safran has built our solution from the ground up. So you have one UI, one tool to use to deliver a variety of capabilities: schedule, cost, risk, and reporting. It's all in one application. This is going to give you timely project delivery. It brings a quicker time to value and allows your users, instead of focusing on how to navigate and learn these variety of tools, to focus on the projects themselves and the insight and corrective actions needed to deliver quality projects. So from a demo perspective, we're going to focus on Safran in kind of a 3 steps to project excellent approach. So the first step is to create the plan. So within Safran Project, we give you the full capabilities you'd expect: planning and scheduling, the ability to assign resources to tasks and activities, and manage resource capacity. In addition, we have full ERP integration out of the box. So we have a tool called Safran Integrator that provides out-of-the-box integration between Safran and SAP. If you use a different ERP system, you have the capabilities to either do a database connection or an API to API connection. We have a variety of customers that are doing that today. And obviously, we realize that the project management environment is not homogeneous. There's a lot of tools out there, so we provide full interoperability with Primavera P6 and Microsoft Project. You can easily import these schedules and export these schedules back out from Safran into these native formats. This is a screenshot of the tool. So the bottom half here, very familiar for anyone that's in the project management environment and been using tools for a long time: WBS structure, a Gantt chart, and control capabilities on the bottom. But I'd like to point out with Safran 7 is we have our new UI at the top here. So what we're bringing with Safran 7 is kind of the best of both worlds. We're bringing you the true enterprise capabilities of Safran, but we're combining it with the ease of use of Microsoft-like look and feel. So it should be very easy for folks to adapt and use this tool. Anyone that's, everyone's familiar with navigating with this kind of UI. So the second step of the 3 steps is to risk adjust the plan. Again, in this same tool, Safran Project, we give the ability to do true Monte Carlo risk analysis on these tools, on your projects, and do what-if scenario planning. And Wes is going to dive into this a lot more, so I'm just hopping over this, but he'll give you a lot more information about what those capabilities are. But obviously, this is a screenshot of the risk capabilities. So on the bottom right, you have a schedule that's been run through the process, and you have a P50, P80, and P100 level of probability reflected there. In the bottom left, you have your data elements, so optimistic, deterministic, pessimistic duration of dates, and then your standard Gantt information. The final step, step 3, is to manage the plan. So with this, we're going to show you the EVM capabilities, Earned Value Management capabilities of Safran Project, and the reporting capabilities of Safran Project. Again, I want to stress all this in the same tool, Safran Project. Here's some standard reports that come out of Safran. The upper left, so within Safran Project, we maintain the concept of time. So here you can see we have a trending report. Bottom left is the worst place to be with your project. Upper right is the best. You can see most of these projects are trending up to the right, which is good. If you notice any that are flat or trending down, obviously it gives you the ability to see a report and then get involved with the project to fix that. S-curve capability right out of the box, and full government reporting, OMB 300, format 1 through 5, etc. I would stress, and I'll show you at the end of this, our website, safran.com, on the information section where you can go and pull a report book that has over 50 reports, sample reports that can be easily generated and delivered out of Safran. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to Wes. Wes is going to do the product demo. So let me hand this to you, Wes.
Thanks, Jeff. So as Jeff said, we've got Safran 7 here today, and familiar interface as you saw in those screenshots before, very easy to use. And Jeff mentioned those 3 steps: create the plan, risk adjust the plan, and manage the plan. So we'll walk you through how you do that with Safran 7. Now you see here I have a project that's already been built, so the schedule's already been built. What I'd like to show you is how easy it is to get started with a new project and a couple different ways you can go about doing that. So I'll go ahead and create a new project. And again, all this data, all these projects are being saved back to an enterprise database, so they're all being there and can be shared across the enterprise. When I create a project, I have the ability to create a project by itself or to create a project from an existing template. So initially you might go through, create a project, you can save it off as a template and then reuse it for future projects going forward. Here's where you could actually do that, the option there to publish as a template. Easy to come in and create a new project, a variety of things you can set up as part of your overall just project structure, from scheduling options to managing scope. That kind of comes into play with change configuration, the change control capabilities we'll talk about a little later. All of your user-defined fields can be defined here as well. You have the ability to create them or to import them, and so what I'll actually do here is just say we can go in, I can pull in some phase codes if I want to, and easily I've gone and data that I've used before I've brought in, and again, if I set this as a template, it's there for me to use next time, and I can actually just eliminate this one little step that we have right here. So we've got reference codes or activity codes, a variety of different field types, outline codes. This is where you can set up your WBS or your OBS and a variety of different outline structures as well. And of course the ability to do some computed fields as well. So if you want to get into some additional calculations or to augment some of the data that's here in the system or data that you may have brought in or imported, you can do that with computed fields. So we'll go ahead and complete. It'll create the new project and open it up for me. And then we'll get started adding in some activities. So I've got a new project schedule. Very easy to go in and begin to add in some activities. I can either do that through the toolbar here, where I can add it off the toolbar, or I can just simply right-click and add in some activities. And so I'll just add in a handful here. So now I've got some activities. If I want, I can change durations by selecting them. I can also link them up. as well. If I just link them up, there we go. Ability to come in here, change the durations, change the dates around the information as well too, based on the logic, etc. If I want to fill down common way, we know a lot of people want to update information and do that. I can do that from the menu here as well. So easy to create activities, add them in, and again, those code fields we talked about before, they're here down below as well. So you can go in, add in those activities, add in the codes as you need to. So very easy to get started, build up a schedule, and create those links. So what I want to do now is to switch back over to the other project and take a look at it, and we'll move forward with this one, because it's got a lot more data in it that'll help us as we go through and look at some additional capabilities. So as you might notice, as we go through, you'll see a variety of different formatting and layout types that are here, and all of those are easily here in your layout. To the ability to create the layout, save additional ones. You've got your traditional filtering capabilities. All those same capabilities you would have in any other kind of scheduling tool are here as well too. So let's take a look at this one. So I've got it kind of in a flat view right now. If I want to group it by WBS, I've got a pre-built view, and again, that's using those outline codes we talked about earlier. And so now I've got it organized by my outline codes, my WBS. In this particular case, I've gone through and formatted my bars to highlight my critical activities. They're shown in red, kind of traditional. If I want to highlight my critical links, be very easy to do here. I can just turn that on. I can, set what I want to define as critical. That turns on the link highlighting as well. And again, I did the red highlighting of the bars through the typical bar formatting type. So there's WBS. Potentially, you may want to group it by, work package or phase. A couple different ways. Again, lots of different ways you can group using the data that's in the system. So here's a different layout. This is work package and phase again. And you can see here just some different formatting, some summary at the work package level, our milestone formatting, etc. So again, lots of flexibility, lots of ease of use, lots of control around getting the right layout, the right information on the screen when you want it displayed. So I've got my project set up. I've got it laid out the way I want to look at it. The next thing I want to do is start adding in my resources and adding in my cost. And so I'm going to go to a view that I built for that to make it a little bit easier and to show, again, the types of information that can be displayed on the screen. So here I've got some resources that have been added to these activities. I'm displaying the total hours, total costs on those activities as well. Here in the Gantt, I've got my columns displaying the resources as well. Again, lots of flexibility in how I want to view that information. Adding a resource is as simply as easy as just right-clicking down here, go in, add a resource. I could pick out additional resource I want to add. Add in my quantity, my rate, and of course that goes and do that. We have the histogram available to us here. Pull up a little print preview of that and take a look. So simple histogram showing for that resource what the load is against that activity and other activities as well. And again, there's some options you've got to go and configure what this view looks like here on the resource loading pane. Additionally, we have, you can use these other histograms as well, and so you can build in this editor view the histograms, and there's a variety that you can build out. I'll just pull in one here by resource stack, and again, pull up the print preview. And so we can see here what my resource looks like across the project. I've got them stacked here by the actual resource, and so I can see my load by that, or my distribution over time across the project. So again, in this case, what we've actually got is a lot of reporting capabilities built right into the application, right into these panes, so I don't necessarily have to jump out to a third-party tool or go somewhere else to look to get that information. It's all there. It can all be edited and configured. Those reports can be configured and customized here within the application. So continuing on with kind of creating that plan and making sure we're moving along. So we've got our activities built out. We've added in our resources. Of course, one of the things we want to do initially is get that initial baseline. And so easy to do that. It's one of the project options. So you can see here, if I pull up this baseline log, that I've already gone ahead and I've done that earlier. So I've created a baseline. And again, pull up another view here, which shows us our baseline comparison view. So I did initial baseline. I've made some modifications since then, and give us a little better view here. We can see here the delta between the baseline and kind of my plan right now and what the impact of that is. And so I can create those baselines. I can save those off. We don't limit the number of baselines you can create. You can create as many baselines as often as frequently as you'd like to do that. And so they're all captured and saved there in that log. And I think that's one of the other things that's been great working with Safran is that we save a lot more data often. So every time you do a baseline, every time you do a status update, we're capturing additional data that can be used for reporting later on. And that's what provides us that great detail with the reports that Jeff talked about, and we'll kind of touch on again here in a little bit as well too. So we've created, we've loaded, resource loaded, cost loaded, we've baselined it. Let's just talk about statusing the activities. Again, not overly complicated. You know, if your preference is to show, do statusing through columns and you want to go in and do percent complete or put in your actuals, you can do that. You can do that here through the columns. You can do that through the progress tab down below, down here in the activity information pane. So very easy to do that. Additionally, we've got statusing built in at the project level, right? If I want to go in and do my status update, I've got all this information now grouped together, and so I can go in and pull up my progress and expended. I had made those changes out of that resource, so saving those off. We'll pull up this cutoff date, and so I'm going to bring back all activities, right? So you can even select which activities you want to go in status. So again, right information at the right time, making it easy to only have to work with the right amount of data. So we bring up a resource view by default. The idea being is that you can update your quantity and the work being defined by your resource and your cost and coming that expenditure. Additionally, there is an activity view, and so if I want to switch over to that, I've got the ability to look at my activities here and go in and view the status this way. So at the resource level, if I status at the resource level, it'll roll up to the activity, and if I status at the activity level, it'll pass down to the resources and allocate it that way. So we've created, we've loaded, we've baselined, and we've statused. And so now we're really into that ongoing maintenance of the schedule and how do we go and what do we do next. One of the things Jeff talked about was risk adjusting the schedule and managing some different scenarios, and so we can do that with we have a risk view, and we also have some what-if scenarios. So if I go and take a look at, switch back over, I'll clean over to my kind of a risk view to pull out some of the risk information that we've got. So here's a view that I've built out. It's showing results from some previous analysis. If I bring this up, what I'm able to do here is actually do a quick risk analysis. And so if you've done risk analysis before, you're familiar with that, this is what we call the duration uncertainty capability, where you're modeling a 3-point estimate or you put in a distribution on the activities. And so this is built right in. This basic capability is built right into the application. And so it's very easy to kind of get an initial quick assessment of what the overall uncertainty and duration is around the project. You can run a quick risk, which gives you the option to pick out your distribution, your range. I'm going to widen this out a little bit. I can apply that. I can apply a filter if I want to only apply it to select activities. I'm going to run my quick risk. I've got some results. I'm going to go ahead and pull up again this histogram. And so very easily I'm able to kind of get an assessment of saying, okay, here is an initial risk assessment for this particular activity. I could go in as well and do it for the overall project as well. And so now I can see my product, and there's a 41-day kind of variance between my deterministic and my P80 dates. As Jeff showed before, all those dates can be published here as bars, right? So you have the information, there's the bars, you've got them in your columns, and again, the reporting capability that's there as well too. So based on that risk adjustment, that risk assessment I may have done, I may want to look at some different what-if scenarios. And so Safran has a great built-in what-if capability. We have the ability to create multiple what-if scenarios or alternative schedules, is how they show up here down in the activity pane. With those alternative schedules, what you're able to do is actually control quite a bit of information about those activities. Common things people do are changing calendars. Very common to see. What if I go from 5 to 6 to 7 days a week, from an 8-hour shift to a 10 to a 12-hour shift? What does that do? How does that help my schedule? What is the impact of it on my schedule? You can change durations and look at how you might model different durations, whether or not that activity actually exists. So this allows you to kind of model different activities in the schedule themselves, and then all of the data information as well too. So as you go through and you create those, and again, you're able to look at those scenarios here in the bar chart as well and see how they lay out and what the impact of those is. As you get closer to kind of making a decision around how you want that to, what schedule you might want to keep, what changes you might want to make, you're able to use the scheduler juggler to bring that information back into your kind of your base plan. So you can pick from any of the alternative schedules. You can pick any of the field information that you may have changed, duration, calendar, existence. Again, you can filter this so you just apply or just pull out a selected section of the schedule. So you could use those activity codes if you've been working on the engineering activities, or your third-party contractor has kind of you've changed some of that scheduling. Based on the coding, you could just apply a filter and pull that in as well too. So you don't have to pull the whole schedule in. And then you'd be able to go in and copy that data back into your base schedule, and now you've updated that schedule, right? And that's where you go back, you could re-baseline after your change, continue to move forward. So all of this, I've done all of this activity, all of this building the plan, working with the plan, adjusting the plan. I've done that all in Safran. I've never had to leave Safran to go and make any of these changes or to model the impact or get all that information. There's kind of one way we can adjust the plan and do that. When it comes to managing the plan, Jeff mentioned a couple things there. We've got an integrated change register, so if you want to apply some change control mechanisms and track change orders and variance orders, you can do that here as well. So to take a look at that, we've got some of those built into this plan as well. So here's a view, and what I'm showing here is some of the original activities. You can see the original activities, and then you can see these change hours where they came from, 2 different variance orders that came in. We're going to manage those through our change register. You've got a couple different ways you can collect those. You can kind of organize them by group or by type, and so with a change order, you can track changes to your resources, changes to your schedule if there are any. And then, of course, once you approve them, they kind of get saved here. You have your accepted date, and all this can be reported. The status of these different changes can be reported through that project level thing called scope that we talked about before when we were setting up the project, where you can actually define how much or which of these change orders, which parts of these change orders gets included in different scope reporting. And so not only can you look at your project over time, but you can also look at the different scopes that your project may contain. So for instance, you may have your initial baseline scope, and then you may have a current scope, which includes your baseline plus your accepted change orders, and then you can have a total scope, which is baseline plus accepted change orders plus any pending change orders. So now at that point you have complete visibility into your entire project of what the total scope of that project might be, and again, for that reporting purposes, we include those different scopes so you can compare those over time and see what those look like. So lots of great robust functionality here around the change capabilities, change register. Managing the plan from an earned value. If you're an organization that has to comply with earned value reporting, Jeff mentioned we've got some capabilities around there as well. And we're able to do that because of the way we collect the data as we go through during the statusing, and we're able to collect a lot of rich information about that. So what I'm doing here is pulled up kind of a view that shows some of the earned value calculations that can be done. I won't go into all the details here. We can do a separate webinar for around earned value if that's of interest to you, but different earned value methodologies that we can collect here. And so whatever you might be using, you can do that. So I've got a histogram here that I'm going to pull up that shows some earned value reporting that we can do out of the box. And so what we can see here is that we're able to do kind of your traditional plan versus earned versus actual traditional reporting. We'll show some additional samples here of some of the other earned value and government reporting that we have that you can configure here as well too. But again, not a separate tool that we have to go and do that. Because of the way we store all that information, we allow you to status and collect this information as well as the robust reporting capability. It's all here inside of Safran. So with that, let's actually go take a look at some of those additional reports that we've got. So we mentioned those additional reports, and as Jeff mentioned on the website, there is a whole book that's available to you. We've pulled out a couple of those here just to kind of walk through some of these sample reports. So at a portfolio level, you can look at how your portfolio is overall performing. Are they ahead or behind on budget, ahead or behind on schedule? So again, this kind of bubble chart portfolio view you've got. For the portfolio, again, we can look at kind of those performance metrics and plot out the performance of your portfolio over time, right? Very valuable to know not only on an individual project basis, but on the portfolio basis. How are they doing? Are they improving? Are they getting worse? And how do I manage that portfolio? That can be done through our reporting. A budget overview at a portfolio level, so stacking up budgets by portfolio, what does that look like? What does my cash flow, what does my budget look like over time? What's my expenditure rate look like? Getting into some of that project level reporting, again, traditional histogram and S-curves reporting, lots of capability, lots of flexibility about that. We saw a couple of examples, and here's a few more. The ability to do some forecasting based on performance, so to take those and forecast those out and look at what your performance and your productivity might be over time. A burn down chart, right? Another great view of data in terms of remaining work. The change register we talked about, here's some reports you can get around that. So you've got change order requests, some details here, and then also looking at those change orders in a histogram view to look at approved versus impacted and where those changes are coming from, right? So again, another great way to look at that data. Because we have it all captured there, you can pull it all in together. So again, the risk report, we saw the histogram. Here's a standard histogram. There's also a sensitivity analysis you can do as well too, which activities are driving potentially have the most risk or uncertainty around them, maybe driving the schedule the most. And then some additional earned value reporting. I'm not going to do all format 1 through 5, but here's an example of format 1 and OMB 300 as well, right? So a couple of those examples. And then if you want to see any more, there's plenty more there on our website that you can go and take a look at. So with that, Jeff, I'm going to turn it back over to you. I think a couple of things you wanted to wrap up there at the end, so back to you.
Great, thanks Wes. Appreciate it. So a couple of advantages, just want to recap some of the advantages of Safran. Partnerships, we have best-in-class partnerships, both alliances, show my screen, both alliances and delivery partners. So we have full capabilities to help you deliver Safran in your organization. Integrated schedule and risk, again, Wes did a great job of showing this. Quick time to value, having all of this in one tool with one install drives really quick time to value, both from the back-end IT perspective and more importantly from the user perspective. full industry standard reports native to the product, and of course scenario planning. So to learn more, just go to sales@safran.com. You can go to the products tab to see specific product information. Obviously in the red bar here we have the information center. That's where you can find the web report we've been talking about, the reports book we've been talking about, as well as information on upcoming events, webinars, etc. And of course always feel free to email sales@safran.com. We would love the opportunity to do a custom demo for you or your organization, and if you have any questions, just email as well, and one of us will respond to you very quickly. Again, thanks for taking the time to learn more about Safran. We appreciate it, and have a good day.